Hi everybody, my name is Adam Meyer. I'm back with another video. Today we're going to go over Bitcoin, we're going to go over the stock market, we're going to go over news about what's driving prices higher here in the stock market and what Bitcoin could potentially be reaching, so we can then capitalize on the investment opportunity to go higher, or if we should be prepared for price to come lower. So let's get right into this. Everybody knows I believe in Bitcoin for the long term. I believe it's a long-term store of value, such as gold, because there's a lot of people that hold gold because they think it's going to appreciate over time because it's just a precious metal. Bitcoin is the same way. It's a deflationary kind of asset because they have their halvings, and there's also a limited supply of 21 million Bitcoin. There's actually less because there's a lot lost within wallets that people can't get into. But for more of the short-term kind of thing and like what is price doing, within the past week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we've seen this rally happen. A lot of buyers are coming in. We kind of saw the Wyckoff schematic that I talk about in other videos. The Wyckoff schematic played out kind of in here, where it had the seller's climax, and then it had its test, and then it had a spring, and then we're rallying our way up into our fair value gap that's sitting right above up in here on the weekly level into the daily level. And we can potentially see pricing around 50 to 56,000 is where I'd be looking for potential accumulation again. And then we could possibly see some movement to the downside. But like I said, long-term store of value, I don't think you can go wrong buying it at any point. But if you're looking to trade it, I don't personally trade it as much as I just invest and leave it in there and earn interest on my investments within, let's say, Gemini. Price right now, possibly coming up into here. So you can see 84 days it accumulated up in here. Here's another 84 days where it accumulated again. We might see a rally where it accumulates for another 84 days. But I'm curious to see if we actually follow the previous halving cycle that happened years ago, but the one that happened last year, we're kind of anticipating higher pricing to all-time high again. We didn't really see a big blow off top like we did here. It didn't really completely just blow off. It kind of accumulated to come down. I'm curious to see if we can get up into this range and actually keep making higher highs and blow right through up into 80 to 100,000. If it comes down in here and it's in a bear market for the next few years until 2024, then we'll be over here. So if it accumulates, I will be adding more to my position. Like weekly, I have like 20, 50, 60 bucks going into it. It really depends how much I really want going in. But maybe I'll do like a few lump sum amounts of investments too if there's actually a big dip. We're also seeing the government paying more infrastructure, so there's more debt coming in. So that means, okay, Bitcoin is a long-term store of value. Typically, it'll appreciate over time as the dollar weakens, and since there's limited supply, it typically would go up based on supply and demand. We also had Ethereum come out with its London hard fork, and it is burning crypto every single minute, and it's saying about $6,596 per minute is getting burned for Ethereum. So that's kind of making that a deflationary supply. So that is kind of good for the currency because it could lower the supply and bring up the value in Ethereum, as I've talked about on this channel, is a long-term thing that a lot of companies are going to use. Marriages, real estate, retail, all this kind of stuff is probably going to be used in Ethereum, and it is being used right now for a lot of video games, a lot of NFT transactions. So this is kind of good for the currency for it to be deflationary, and it's also supposed to be lowering the gas fees. As we can all tell, those were kind of a pain a few months ago, back when they were like $500 for one fee for one transaction. I personally wasn't doing anything at that time. I was watching it do this because there was like a huge ramp up in transactions, which raised the miners to charge more, so the gas fee was high, and this could potentially lower it, which will be very, very good, and I'm a big fan of that. Going over to the stock market, we're seeing all-time highs here in the NASDAQ as of yesterday, the S&P 500 all-time highs again today, and also the Dow Jones, we saw all-time highs again. We can go over here to Forex Factory, and our average hourly earnings, they went up about 0.4%. Our non-farm employment change, so the amount of jobs basically created, was about 943,000 jobs compared to the forecast of 870,000. So that is good for the currency, as well as unemployment rate was supposed to be 5.7, but it's 5.4. So that's all good for the currency, and that is booming these stock prices to go higher. And then if you go over to Yahoo Finance, they're kind of saying that there's more room for potential higher pricing to see the stocks go even higher, which earnings are decent on a lot of the companies. Inflation isn't really huge right now. It is being talked about. It's coming in. We don't know the exact rate of what it's going to be, but that's also a concern for certain investors. And the concern is really about 2022, where the growth will slow for a lot of these companies. And what I was showing my group chat, links down below, I put in a chart. The Dow Jones started to look a little weak. This was just a forecast. I wasn't shorting it like this. This was just a possible scenario. There's a lot of lows made here. There's a lot of money sitting below all these lows. And there's a nice gap sitting down with here, all on the weekly time frame, where we see this nice down candle before this move up. So there's a lot of selling before all this buying. So possible projections of a 20% drop here on the Dow. If we were to make it down there, this is where we would be accumulating orders. But like I was saying, since prices are doing very well with the companies, earnings are decent, we probably still have room to go. But I was also just noticing prices starting to look exhausted. As you can see, a rally comes down, a little pullback, takes these lows, rally, pullback, and then rally up again. And right now we're just seeing price kind of moving sideways. We didn't really see it moving sideways back down in here. And this is all the COVID recovery from this was 2020 over in here, and then 2021 starts right about here. So we're trying to see, just looking at price in the weekly level, it's just looking exhausted for the past few months here. We could see some rally happen, which we might. Then if we're day trading it, we just look for potential opportunities to take long or even take short. But if this does actually play out, this would be a nice area to that I'm personally investing more into my long-term portfolio on a lot of these good companies. All right, this is going to conclude it for the video. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope this gave you great insight here on the stock market and also the cryptocurrency market and what we can expect and how we can possibly add into our investment portfolios. That's what I'm personally doing. I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research, but I hope I can help guide you to do your research to the right sources that I see fit that work for me, so then you can do it yourself. So let me know if you have any questions. Join the links down below and have a good one. Take care.